Hey guys, Morgan Chalfin here. I actually got a request from somebody, which hasn't happened in a long time. Um, I actually got a request from somebody to wondering if I would do an overview of some of the new movies that are going to be coming out. Ones that have trailers released. Apparently, I'm guessing that's what he meant. He or she, whoever it was. But anyway, so I put together a quick list here. This isn't going to be terribly long, but I figured people that that are wondering what's coming out and have seen the trailer or haven't seen the trailers. If they have and they've got questions and I want to look it up, you guys can listen to this review and I'll try to give you some information on what the film's about, who's doing it, who's starring in it, whether it in my opinion looks worthy of, I guess, spending $10 to get into a movie or whatever. So anyway, I've got I think about 8 movies here that I'll go through, and as usual, feel free to comment below if you want me to do a review of a movie that's already been out, one that's going to come out that I didn't do in this post, movies that already have come out, favorite lists, best of lists, whatever. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you enjoy these. But anyway, thanks to everybody who continues to listen to them. And my next one will probably be on a book review, which I haven't done. I've done a few, but I haven't posted them. Just putting together kind of a list of a few that I've read lately that I think people would enjoy. So, let's get to it. I'm going to start out with Darren Aronofsky's new movie, Noah. This movie, I mean, as anybody who's seen a Darren Aronofsky movie, The Fountain being the one that pops into my head, Black Swan. Whenever you see Darren Aronofsky's name on a movie, you're gonna have to go in with an open mind. This movie, Noah, obviously chronicles the biblical Noah and the Great Flood and everything. This has a very, very interesting post-apocalyptic look to it. Now, you could argue, hey, it's apocalyptic anyway because the flood wipes out everybody supposedly. But the trailer for this movie looked really interesting. Personally, I like Aronofsky's work. There's very few movies of his that I haven't liked. The other thing too is he always gets a good cast to go in, and that's half the battle. And with Noah, you have Russell Crowe, who's playing the character of Noah. You have Jennifer Connelly. You have Anthony Hopkins. You have Emma Watson. I mean, the hits just keep on coming. I mean, you got a ton of people. I think you either have Nick Nolte in here, which is interesting enough. When I looked this up for the characters that people play, Nick Nolte plays a character named Semyaza. Semyaza, in biblical lore, if I remember correctly, was a fallen angel of some sort. Forgive me, my biblical lore is a little rusty. But another name that I came up with in here is Kevin Durand, which you recognize the guy the minute you see him. Probably not a household name, but I mean, been in a ton of movies. And he plays a character in here too. Ray Winstone's in here as well. Frank Langella is even in here, and he plays a character named Azazel, which, as anyone knows, pretty common name in demonic and angelic lore. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of this movie. Anthony Hopkins is playing Methuselah, so that'll be interesting. But good cast, good movie. Looks really, really good. It's tough to really tell a lot from the trailer, but I would think this is probably a safe bet that this is going to be good. If you like Aronofsky's work, I'm sure you'll probably like the movie. The next movie I want to cover is one that really hasn't got a lot of publicity, and it's one that I just kind of stumbled onto. But the movie is called Jupiter Ascending. And it stars Mila Kunis, Channing Tatum, Sean Bean is in here, and I mean a ton of other people. It's interesting too that Terry Gilliam is supposed to be in the movie in a small part, which if you look at the movie, it does remind you, like, cinematically, of a Brazil-like movie. So that's going to be interesting to see. The trailer looks really interesting, and the movie itself looks like it could be pretty cool. From what I can see and what I've read up on the movie, it's set in kind of a futuristic place where gods rule over humans, and Mila Kunis plays a woman who's got some sort of genetic anomaly that makes her extraordinary of some sort. And Channing Tatum's character plays some sort of interplanetary badass who's sent to kill her but can't, So it's the hitman can't finish off his mark motif, which you've seen a ton of. What I think is going to ruin this movie, and it's sad to say, I mean, I don't want to pass judgment this early, but is Channing Tatum's mediocrity. The fact is, I mean, I don't hate the guy, but he's just not that great an actor. He's mediocre in everything he does on screen. The one time I really enjoyed it was, him is his comedic side, and he's really pretty good in a comedic role. 21 Jump Street, I was actually very surprised. He just doesn't have the charisma, I don't think, to carry a movie, at least a movie of this caliber. So, I mean, I don't know. He's just pretty mediocre, I think. What will save this movie is Sean Bean being in it. I mean, that's about all there is to say about that at the moment. Might check this trailer out if you're a fan of science fiction movies, that kind of thing. See what you think. If you're a Mila Kunis fan, definitely go see it. Another one. This one, it's been publicized like crazy. With you got your 26 different Empire magazine covers for X-Men Days of Future Past. I've always been an X-Men fan, more of a DC Comics fan, but X-Men's one of the few Marvel titles that I've kind of kept up on. Used to watch the old cartoon. The movie itself looks amazing. I'm really looking forward to it. I think that it's going to be interesting to see what they do with. They kind of screwed the character of Cyclops up so much in the previous movies that they're not going to be able to use him in this movie, which is why James Marsden wasn't invited back. But I think he's dead in the future timeline anyway, so I think it works out fine. They've got most of the cast back from the original. I think it's going to be fantastic. There's not much really left to say in that. There's an interesting movie called Seventh Son. And from what I've seen, too, it really hasn't got a lot of publicity either. It's supposed to come out next year, February of next year, if I remember right. The movie stars Jeff Bridges, and Julianne Moore's in there, Jaimin Hunsu's in there. This Ben Barnes kind of plays the young kid, I think the protagonist of the one character that one actor that actress I should say, that I'm excited to see is I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Anjay Trau, who played Feora Ul in Man of Steel, and she was really good. She stole that movie away. So I'm interested to see what she's got in this one. But from what I've been told and what I've read up on, it's loosely based on a novel called The Spook's Apprentice. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know much more than that. That's about all I know of it. If Jeff Bridges signed on, I mean, I want to say, and I want to hold out hope that the movie's going to be good. The trailer certainly looks interesting, and the cinematography and the CGI look really, really good. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Essentially, the movie seems to be about your standard like chosen one young kid who has great power that needs to be brought out, and Jeff Bridges being the mentor character, from what I can see. But definitely a trailer to take a look at if you're a fan of fantasy. And if you're a fan of the book, I'm sure you're going to want to. From what I've been told, it's pretty loose on the basis, though. So take it with a grain of salt. Let's see. Moving on to my next movie, Edge of Tomorrow. Edge of Tomorrow is Tom Cruise's new big. Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. The movie is a science fiction movie that apparently is based on a Japanese novel. I think it's called. What did I read? I think it's called All You Need Is Kill. I think it really is what it's called. I don't know the author's name. It's a very long Japanese name. But take a look at it. If you're a fan of the novel already, you obviously know this. Apparently, it looks like it comes in on a futuristic setting where the human race is fighting against some sort of hostile alien race. As much, I mean, I tend to like Tom Cruise. I tend to like his movies and everything. I mean, regardless of who he is as a person doesn't matter in this. Emily Blunt's just sweet in everything she does. She's just fun to watch and everything, and she looks pretty badass in the trailer of this movie. So totally worth a watch. It looks like a movie that's going to have a strong female character, which is really good. Bill Paxton is in this too, and he plays some sort of military general, from what I can tell from the trailer. And even I think Jeremy Piven's even in here, I think too. But from what I was told actually though is that originally the studio considered Brad Pitt for the lead role, but Tom Cruise was already locked into it or something. Personally, I'm happy that Cruise is in here because I'm not a big Brad Pitt fan. Anyway, that is about all I can tell you about that. But go watch this trailer if you have not seen this movie. If you're already a fan of the novel, you're going to want to check this movie out. The next one, which will be out very soon here, is 300, Rise of an Empire. This movie, honestly, it looks good. It's like it's going to be on par with the first 300. I've heard a lot of flack and a lot of people talking about how, the guy in the lead role, who, for some reason, I don't know his name, maybe from what the list I've got here, I think it's Sullivan Stapleton is his name. A lot of people, have been given a flack like, he's not going to be as good as Gerard Butler. When, a lot of people, I don't think they take into consideration that 300's the movie that really laid the groundwork for Gerard as far as a household name. Like it was 300 that put him on the map. So this Sullivan Stapleton, from what I know about him, has been doing a series called Strike Back. He's playing. The movie is going to be centered around the Battle of Salamis, which was a big naval battle where basically the Athenian navy, as opposed to the Spartans' army, the Athenians' navy was the best in the world at that point. Anyway, the Athenian navy and their legendary naval commander Themistocles, who I assume Sullivan Stapleton's playing, basically crushed the shit out of the Persian navy. And so, I mean, it's one of the most iconic naval battles of all time in world history. That's just as much for the battle as the tactics that were used. But apparently the movie's gotten back all the ones that all the actors that were in the original that survived. Lena Headey, Hetty, not Headley. She's back playing Gorgo. And Rodrigo Santoro is back playing Xerxes. Oh, I think they even got David Wenham back to play, who was playing the character of the Spartan that lost the one eye. I can't remember his name for some reason. Wish I could. But anyway, it looks amazing. I think it's going to be an excellent movie. Eva Green's playing some sort of role as some badass female chick. Looks like some sort of Persian naval commander. So it'll be interesting to see. By the way, if you have not seen the trailer for this movie, go find it and find the one that they released that has Ozzy Osbourne's Black Sabbath War Pigs playing behind it. It is an amazing trailer. And the last movie I'm going to talk about is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. From what I've been reading up on this, Captain America is one of those Marvel characters that I've always really liked. And from what I've read, there was a lot of problems on set. And I mean, I haven't been, or I don't know what the nature of those problems were. But I mean, maybe somebody else does. If you do, feel free to post down and let me know. But anyway, the movie chronicles, of course, the bad guy, the Winter Soldier, which is Cold War super soldier out of Russia, if I remember right from the comic books. It's been a while since I've read a comic book, or Captain America comic book. My big beef with this movie is the problem is that they're looping it together in the Avengers. You've got your Thor, and you've got that. The problem with doing these movies by themselves now is suspending the disbelief that the other Avengers wouldn't be there to help him. And they try to pass that off by putting a few of the characters in there. In this case, they're putting Black Widow in with him. They lost Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye after that whole ordeal, so he's not going to be in it. And they've pulled in what's the actor's name to play the Falcon. So I mean, I think the movie's going to be interesting. The first Captain America was not that great, sadly. It had a lot of problems. There were a lot of things it did right, though, too. It looks like they have Sebastian Stan back, and from what I remember, the Winter Soldier was it ended up being Bucky, which is the character Sebastian Stan played. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. Like I said, I'm a DC guy more than anything. Apparently, Emily Van Camp is going to be in this movie too, in some regard. Robert Redford is in here. Haley Atwell's back, who played in the original Captain America movie, played his love interest. So it looks like they got quite a bit of cast coming back. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little spiel about me, this little overview. I didn't go into a lot of depth on some of them, but hopefully, if you have not heard of any of these movies, you can go watch the trailers for them. Yeah, that's about all I have to say. Like I said, if you have any comments, questions, post them down at the bottom. Feel free to hit the subscribe button, and thanks a lot for listening.